Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All for United. Now, I'm joined by a great panel tonight. United, obviously, we don't want to talk about the most recent game, but we focus on the future. We focus on the present. We don't talk about the past because that's being negative. But yes, let's get right into this stream. This is your Real Betis and United preview for the first leg of Europa League. So, guys, you just want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Andrew, regular on All for United, and happy to be on the show tonight.
Tony, you're muted, pal.
Regular contributor to the show, All for United, and after Sunday, feel a little bit more positive. I've had a few days to reflect.
Yeah, I feel your pain, pal, because I watched my match reaction on my channel today, and yeah, I've never lost my mind so much over a game, because I'd be kicking off and I'd start to mellow down, and then I'd remember something else that wound me up, and then I'd kick off over that again. Let's just erase that game from our memories and let's just focus on this game, because I think we can all admit that the United players for this game we need to see a reaction, that's for sure, because even though Erik Ten Hag said it, that they let the fans down, and we just need to go again, and they're going to prove that on Thursday's game. I mean, Rashford's spoken out on his tweet. Garnacho has, Bruno, De Gea, pretty much the entire starting 11, saying sorry they've let us down. We're going to prove to you all on Thursday why we're a great team. But yeah, just looking at the comments right now, you've got Max MUFC, nice one, pal. Evening. And then we've got the gaffer, Connor. He's in. He's looked forward to Betis. So it's going to be a good one. So Andrew, I'll come to you first. Do you know much about Betis, or are you just like, do you know it just because we're playing them? Is it just like you've only tuned into them recently?
I was going to say it's another Spanish team again, but then again, over the last, several seasons, the amount of Spanish teams we've faced in European competition, I feel like there's something going on there, and they always want to pair us with a Spanish team. But I say, well, with Betis, we're going to see a familiar face in the dugout as well, because obviously Pellegrini, who used to manage Man City as well, so I'm sure we'll be giving him a nice warm welcome. But I think they've had about 3 successive wins again in the last in the league against Almeria, Valladolid, and Elche as well. So it's they're coming into Old Trafford with some form as well. So they'll want to after what happened Sunday, try and keep us in that bad mood as we were on after Sunday. So I think in terms of their Europa League campaign, I think they've won 5 games and drawn 1 in their Group C game. I think they only dropped points. I think that was against Roma. So and I think I'm trying to remember, they got past Frankfurt, and as I think it was. I think this is the first time they've been in the last 16. So certainly, I think but they've only lost 2 of their last 12 away games in all tournaments. So we can't rule out Betis. They're going to be full of confidence. Trying to spring a surprise. So one stat I did see is first ever committed meeting between us 2 in any tournament. So it's going to be definitely one to watch, and I'm hoping United will definitely bounce back from that. I don't even want to know what I want to call it after Sunday. There's no words.
We'll just call it a massacre, because that's just the best way to actually say it. Like, even though we have the butcher on our side, we did get slaughtered. So, but like we said, we need to move on. That we've lost 3 points, and that's going to be Liverpool's trophy for the season, because we know they're not winning anything this year, and we've already won a trophy. We're still in Europe when they're going to lose to Real Madrid next week, and we're also in the FA Cup, unlike them. So we're up in the world of Liverpool. They're going to cling on to that like we did under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when we had that unbeaten away win record. It's our trophy for the season. But Tony, I'll just ask you as well. Do you know much about Real Betis? Or...
I mustn't lie, but I don't really follow La Liga anymore, to be honest. I know a few of their players, obviously through FIFA and other things, and obviously watching highlights. So like things like Fekir, he's injured though for the rest of the season, so Fekir's not playing.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a record, as Andrew was saying. They did draw against Madrid on Sunday, a 0-0 draw. against a really good Madrid side. And also as well, they've got a player, their top scorer is Borja Iglesias, and he's also the top assist player as well. So they've got some dangerous players in here. Canela's really good player. Junamanai, I'll probably butcher that. William Carvalho plays for him as well. William Carvalho, I know, was touted for a lot of European teams a few seasons ago, and he's a top player. And as Connor's just mentioned in the comments there, another Spanish side. Yeah, they are our kryptonite a lot of times, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I do think the greatest apology that these players can give after Sunday is putting a good performance out there against Betis. Another part of me thinks, though, I think Ten Hag must be thinking about this game now and thinking maybe put his eggs in too many baskets, if that makes any sense. Like,
yeah, I see your point, because he's like, I think you're saying like he hasn't rotated well enough. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like the rotation there hasn't, like I'm guessing we're going to go to the predicted lineups at some point, but I could see us differentiating a lot from the game on Sunday. As Jarvis has just commented as well, Betis are no pushover as well. They're in the top 6 of La Liga for a reason, and they're going to come here to prove a point. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree, mate. And Real Betis, like you said, like Jarvis said as well, they're no pushovers. They're 5th in the league. They do score goals. It's just that since they've lost Fekir, they've struggled creating goals, but they're still scoring. They've still got good players. I mean, I'm looking at some of the players now, and like you said, Iglesias, he seems to be their main talisman. They've got obviously William Carvalho that we've just spoke over.
They've got Claudio Bravo at goal as well.
Yeah, ex-City player. So he's a good player for him. But there's also that Perez, who used to play for Leicester, I believe. Is it Sergio Perez?
Jose Perez, yeah.
Jose Perez, that's it. So he's a good player. I remember him at Leicester. So it's not like they're a pushover side. Would you say they're exceeding expectations this year like United? I wouldn't say so, because the Spanish league really consists of Real Madrid and Barcelona, and that's about it, really.
I mean, they're one of the best of the rest besides Real Madrid, Barca and Atletico. Like, I mean, Villarreal, they're 5th in the league. They're above Villarreal, who we lost to in the Europa League a couple of seasons ago. You know, they're pushing for a Champions League place, so they're looking like a really strong outfit. I think, you know, I'm just having a look at their record as well in Europa League as well, because obviously they beat us in a friendly as well, didn't they, back in December in the winter pre-season. I know we can't really say that should be a measure of the games and stuff. I mean, that's beside the point, but it's going to be interesting. I think Betis are a really strong team, but you are right. Fekir it's maybe a misconception that Fekir's their goals, because he's only got 3 goals all season and 2 assists. So I mean, they've got other players out there who can do damage.
He's one of them players that, like, he doesn't get your headlines, but like over the years he's been brilliant for them. But this season it's like he's kind of like how Jesus was at Arsenal before he got injured, where he wasn't getting many goals and assists, but he was creating them chances. So he was like the last person before the assister, if that makes sense. And
no, absolutely.
I've watched a bit. Not like I've watched loads of games. I've said I've watched probably about 2 games of Real Betis this season, and they weren't even all the way through. So I remember watching them versus Barcelona when they lost to them, but that's probably like the only game I've really watched of Real Betis this season.
They've got Luis Felipe as well. I've completely forgot about Luis Felipe. Play for Chelsea as well. So they've got some good players. Maybe not at the peak of their powers anymore, but still strong players who can do a job when they need to.
Yeah, it's like they had Alex Moreno as well, but he's obviously recently gone to Aston Villa, and he's a good signing. So they do have good players, or did, should I say? But you know, let's talk about Manchester United, because that's what everyone's here for tonight. I am expecting a good comeback. I'm expecting a reaction from these players, because I think that no matter what the score is, if they score first, I feel like that Ten Hag would have just drilled into them this last few days, just saying you can't let your heads drop. I'm never going to allow a result like that to happen again, like Liverpool did. And it's just because, I mean, he said it was unprofessional in his post-match interview dinner, that the players were unprofessional, and it just wasn't a good day at the office, pretty much. And the way that the likes of Gary Neville has come out and criticised Bruno Fernandes, but doesn't criticise the likes of Harry Maguire, Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, there's a bit of a link, isn't there, when it's British players? But it seems that when a player who's foreign does something wrong, Gary Neville's one of the first to jump on board because what frustrates me is that I've seen something on Twitter where Gary Neville likes Marcus Rashford's apology tweet for the Liverpool match, but didn't like Bruno Fernandes's, and he's called him out on the media, which is it just says it speaks louder than words. But just go to the comments a second. So we've got Liquor, evening guys. Got Dav. 147. Hi, fellas. I think most players will bounce back with decent performances, but we're still too reliant on Rashford to perform. Yeah, I agree, pal. For me, Rashford is one of them players. He's probably been one of our most important players this season. For me, I do rank Casemiro as the most important player this season, but that was a question I was going to ask you guys at the end of the stream about who are your three most important players in Manchester United this season. So people in the comments, you start putting who your three favourite players are. But since he's brought that up, Andrew will ask you first, who's your most important three players this season for United?
I think firstly Casemiro, but I say on Sunday he went missing. Second would be Martinez, and then third would be Rashford. Not I'm putting them in any particular order. Just those three are been so important. I mean, like Casemiro in that midfield, it was just before the Liverpool game, his standards were so high, and I mean he just did the simple things right. Was playing the right pass into getting United on the attack. Martinez in the defence, he'll just go in for everything. So, or even when I think I remember back to one game against when we played Forest in the league, the second leg against Forest at Old Trafford, and Varane was taken out. Martinez was straight over and went, "Oh, you're not doing that to my team, mate. I'm going to be getting straight in there." So he will stick up for his team.
Yeah.
And what more can you say about Marcus Rashford? He's just been scoring goals for fun, and I mean comparing him to last season, it was just like a shadow. It was so sad to watch at Old Trafford. Him not, even when he was taking on the opposition players, he was wasn't getting past them. Now he's just I can take anybody on in the world. So yeah, it's just I'm hoping they'll all bounce, but those three will bounce back on Thursday as well. I'm just thinking team wise. I'm just thinking fatigue might have finally hit on Sunday. I mean, we've been playing 2 games per week since the World Cup, and I just think physically they'd all look fine, but mentally, I think that Liverpool they all switched off. Well, not just those three, everybody did. So yeah. I just think Ten Hag's, he's going to have a go at them, and then he's just going to have to rebuild them all back up again, and then we'll hopefully see that response on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree, pal. And like you've just said to me, them 3 players are probably our most important players this season. I mean, do you think that any other players are in candidate for that? Would you say the likes of Bruno Fernandes, where him stepping up and being a captain? Would you say the likes of David De Gea? I mean, he's made some very important saves this season, like the Leicester game and stuff. So there's quite a few players. I think I would say about 6 or 7 key Manchester United players, but that's why it's so hard because I've only given you 3 to choose from. But I would probably say the same as you with Casemiro, Martinez, and Rashford, because without Rashford, where are our goals coming from realistically? Because we've signed a Burnley donkey. And it's just, I said in my match reaction for the Liverpool match that I wish we got the big horse that scored against Mark Goldbridge in FIFA, because we would be loving him right now. But
I mean, to be fair to Weghorst, I mean, yes, he's not scoring the goals, but he's contributing in other ways. So
is he though? Because I said in my match preview before the Liverpool game, I said I would not play Weghorst in this type of game because playing Weghorst as a 10 is one of the most important players in one of the most important positions in Ten Hag's system, where it's the link-up play, the number 10's constantly pressuring and then running back and forth the pitch all day, which is what Weghorst is doing. He's doing a lot of pressures. He is running around a lot, but his link-up play is terrible. And that's why Bruno Fernandes, when he plays out on wide, that's why he has a stinker performance like he did on Sunday. That's just my opinion, though, but...
Yeah, I was thinking like the League Cup final where he linked up with Rashford and let Rashford go and score the goal. So to be fair, Vegas, he's not the long-term solution. I know that, and I'm just thinking we do need to go. Probably not just one striker, maybe two if needed. Well, with Martial at the moment, when is he fit? That's the problem.
And I mean, Martial's built like a poppadom, innit? Like he just breaks as soon as he touches the ball, and it is frustrating. But I would say probably 2 or 3 strikers coming in the next 2 years is key, because up front we can't just keep relying on Rashford, in my opinion. But Tony, I've left you a bit silent there. So
Don't worry.
What's your 3 most important players this season?
It's hard to disagree with you when you say it. Rashford provides the goals. Casemiro is the engine in the middle. Martinez is the live wire in defence. I think it's hard because I think Luke Shaw's been brilliant most of the season, but obviously Sunday everyone was atrocious. I'm not gonna count anything for one player based on a game against on Sunday, because that'd be unfair on the rest of them. I think you are right about Weghorst in some ways. I don't think he's a donkey. I think Weghorst has a lot more than... I understand he's not a United quality player. I understand that. I think every fan understands that, right? But the thing is, he's doing a job that at the moment we don't have many other people who can do it. I do think Sunday was the wrong game for him to be put into it. I think we needed someone a lot more quicker and energetic. I think Bruno's wasted on the wings a little bit, but I'm not Erik Ten Hag. I'm only a guy who has an opinion, most of the time wrong about the opinion, but nonetheless, I can say what I think, but I trust Ten Hag to do the right thing in a lot of situations. I think Ten Hag has got a lot of things right this season, and I think we have to trust his judgment to see. At the moment, he's trying to wean in Garnacho in a lot of ways, but Garnacho is one of them players where you need to wean him in slowly. You can't just throw him in the front lines, because we've seen it happen to so many players in the past where, they're young, promising, they get chucked into the front line straight away, and if they don't swim, they get slaughtered, unfortunately. Just to bring it back on Bruno, I love Bruno in the middle. I think Bruno in the middle is our best player. He's so good in the middle, and that's why I get to the point when he plays on the wings. You could see he was frustrated on Sunday because he was playing left wing, and it's just there like everyone had his number. I don't want to dissect the game on Sunday because I think it's happened. We know what went wrong. Ten Hag knows what went wrong. The players should know what went wrong. We need to move forward. But there was a comment here I saw from Jarvis whilst you guys were talking about playing the reserves. I do think there's going to be a lot of wholesale changes on Thursday against Betis. Not wholesale, but in the middle, I think there'll be quite a few changes anyway, and in defence.
Yeah, I mean, just say my thing on Weghorst as well as that. I calling him a donkey, that's out of order. But yeah. I do have sympathy for Weghorst, because I just feel like that he was brought in to be the backup striker, and then Martial's been injured and been inconsistent, and then he's played every single game pretty much since he's joined us. Yeah. And it's frustrating for him because he isn't the best striker, and he doesn't get much service either. So it is frustrating for Weghorst. It must be, but I just don't think he's United quality. I really like the guy, but I just starting to lose my patience with him now. And I think playing Rashford through the middle is the better candidate, and having either Sancho or Garnacho on the left is the better option at this point, because, like we've agreed, Bruno is just wasted out on the wing. But Andrew, do you actually say? Oh, go on,
just before I get you go, would you have Weghorst in as a like an option in the box late in the game where you're a goal down, you need a fox in the box? Yeah, I'd have him. That. I'm just saying, off the bench. I'm not saying I think it's a disservice to say he isn't good enough to be a part of the squad, because I think he is. I think he proved it against Newcastle the other week. I think he's proved it against Barcelona. He's had so many good games. I think the problem is we expect so much out of so little. Like that's not to knock him, but it's just there. Like you're expecting a Ferrari out of a Fiat, and you're not going to get that, unfortunately. But he's serviceable. He's a serviceable player who does a job for us. But I'll move on to Andrew. Let Andrew speak, because I feel like I've been waffling for a couple of minutes now.
No, it's just to add on your points about Bruno. I say during his time at United, we've seen the very best of Bruno, but you could also say at times we may have seen the worst as well. And what I mean by that is when the worst parts of his game when he's simply being overused. And as with a lack of alternatives in this, well, for what Bruno does, means he's having to play a lot more. Even I know we got Donny van der Beek, who's injured, but even when he wasn't injured, he wasn't up to scratch. And so we need somebody, an alternative Bruno that's like young and dynamic, who will take responsibility when Bruno's not there. So, and also he'll give a competition for Bruno as well, and he'll raise his game as well, and it'll also avoid him being run into the ground, which I felt like last season he was being run into the ground. Bruno, he likes the high risk passing game, and when he's not on form, it hurts the team as well. So I think United have got to ensure that we don't run Bruno into the ground. We're not overusing him. So we've just got to choose our moments with their Bruno now going forward.
Yeah, because like you said, with Bruno, I mean, he's pretty much I think he's played 24 out of our 25 Premier League games this season, plus all domestic competitions. And he is a workaholic, and I do feel sorry for him because he must be knackered. And I think we can all agree on as well is that Eriksen coming in the summer was supposed to help Bruno with rotation, because we didn't get Frankie de Jong. Then that's why Eriksen started playing as that deep playmaker. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if you agree on that, but for me, I just think that Eriksen was brought in to be that Bruno rotation type player.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say on Eriksen. Well, with Eriksen, he was sort of initially. I thought, he was going to be initially for like that competition for Bruno, but he sort of slotted in with Casemiro, so it's like, well, Bruno's having to play anyway. So
yeah,
I know sometimes they've had sometimes Fred's gone further forward, so you could have technically, could you leave Bruno for certain games, leave Bruno on the bench, and you'd have Casemiro, Eriksen, and Fred further forward, or Eriksen further forward and Fred and Casemiro together. So it could work out well. Soon see. Hopefully Eriksen's back before the end of the season as well, so we can maybe see that as well.
Yeah, hopefully, because I'm starting to think as well as that maybe we need to start playing someone like Sancho through the middle just to give Bruno a break, because I think that even though Sancho for me is one of the most frustrating players at Manchester United, and that might be a big statement, but it gets clicks. But for me, I just think that Sancho, I think he's a very good technical player, but one of the most frustrating things is that he doesn't run at defenders. So I think that because he tries and links up play way too much, and then he tries and makes runs into space. I think he'd be great at being in the middle, where he's quiet, like he has a more space and more time. Because I think that modern day fullbacks now are absolutely rapid and strong, which is probably Sancho's biggest weaknesses, because he's not very physical and he's not very quick because he doesn't really run at defenders.
I'd say with Sancho, right? I think you are right. I think in the next few seasons he will transition to that cam role. I think ultimately it will be that for the reasons that you said. But I think Sancho, when he's come on recently, played left wing, I think he's looked decent. He's looked a bit tricky. He's intelligent. You could see the intelligence. You could see the skill on him. You could see the talent that we can all see. It's just obviously glimpses. You don't ever see it in a full 90. You see glimpses, but you see that, you can say that about everyone in the United team at the moment. There's glimpses, and I do think next season, when he's had a full pre-season and the team's been, because when you think about it, he's been away for 4 months, doing his own thing and stuff, doing his own personal training. I do think it's going to be a transition period to get him back in the team. And he's got Garnacho, some good competition on that side. Rashford, when he can actually play on the left, he can also play on the right, Sancho. I think that's a misconception. He played quite a lot on the right for Dortmund, and he's done it for England before. It'd be nice to see him play a little bit more, because I think he's technically on the ball one of our best players.
Yeah, I agree, because for me, Sancho is one of them, like, he's more of a creative winger than an actual inverted winger, especially when he's at Dortmund. But it seems that since he's been at United, he has been moved over to that left-hand side type winger, and he's becoming a lot more inverted. But I do think that maybe we should try him out on the on the right-hand side, and I think that would help us out a lot, maybe, because I feel like Antony doesn't create enough, and I mean, Anthony's a very, very tricky subject to talk about because very overpriced, but that's not his fault. We paid about, what was it, 80 million, 85 million for, I'd say, not even a 40 million pound player. And it's just a tough one with Anthony because I really like him, but his performances recently haven't been up to scratch. And like I said with Sancho, how he doesn't run at defenders. At least Sancho tries and knocks it past someone. Anthony just tries and hits it on that left foot. I mean, he is a very frustrating player, Anthony, at the moment, and he does need to either be dropped or sorts out his game. But we'll go into our predicted 11s for the game against Real Betis because that is our next game. So we'll start off with the back line and then we'll move on to midfield and then forwards. So for me, I do think it'll be the same back line as Sunday, but I am going to put Malacia in over Shaw because I think that Shaw just didn't look right. He had that injury against Newcastle where he went off and and apparently had a stretched knee or he pulled something. So I would put Malacia in this type of game just for that rotation because we have got quite a few games coming up over the next few weeks.
I'd be making wholesale changes in the back. It wouldn't be the same back four that played against Liverpool, not because of the fact they played badly, because of the fact they looked shattered. For me, I'd be playing Wan-Bissaka at right back, who should have played on Sunday. I'd be playing Malacia because Shaw, it looked injured to me. He looked knackered. Varane won't play on Thursday. He can't play a game more than a game a week anymore. And that's something that needs to be discussed, I think, in the summer, because he had a late fitness test to see him on Sunday. Yeah. I know that much. And I know we weren't right. But the thing is, Lindelof was injured as well. I think if Lindelof was fit, I think Lindelof would have played on Sunday instead of Varane. But Maguire,
doesn't that say a lot about Harry Maguire, though, about how Erik Ten Hag doesn't trust him?
Harry Maguire's gone, mate, in the summer. I'm not to knock the guy. I think he's been an admirable professional in all this and everything that I could say for him and against him. You know, if he played on Sunday, how bad would it have been for him? He'd have got slaughtered on Sunday. So I'm glad he didn't play in that respect. But I think Maguire might play if Lindelof is fit. If Lindelof isn't fit, I could see Maguire and Martinez playing together. I could genuinely see those two playing together. Obviously, De Gea in goal, even though I'd even give Tom Heaton a shout for a game.
Well, what was the point of signing Jack Butland as well, by the way? It reminds me of the Dubravka situation. I completely forgot we had Jack Butland until I saw it in the paper the other day. I was just like, it was naming the squad list for the, I think it was the Newcastle match. And it said that Jack Butland was in the squad. I completely forgot all about him.
I think the problem with the thing with Jack Butland is he came in at a time when we had a lot of cup games, and I think Tom Heaton in the cup games he's played in has done really well. He's been faultless, and I think obviously De Gea is the better overall shot stopper. He's an elite level shot stopper, but I'm saying just the simple things in goalkeeping like the catching, coming for crosses and things like that. Tom Heaton excels in, and I think he's actually a really underrated goalkeeper. I've rated him since he was at Burnley. So I'm obviously going to have a little bit of an opinion on him. But Jack Butland, for me, 10 years ago, Jack Butland would be starting this game, but it's not Jack Butland of 10 years ago. It's Jack Butland today. And
FIFA 17 Jack Butland, if you...
Yeah.
He was mental.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Andrew, what would your backline be?
I'd say definitely a refresh, certainly in order after the humbling event against Liverpool. But I think it would definitely be De Gea in goal. Obviously, mentioned Lindelof. I think he's got to be assessed because I'm not sure what the injury he's got. But so the back line, I'd definitely put Wan-Bissaka back in because literally Dalla was torn apart on Sunday. So Malacia on the left as well. And I'm not sure. Definitely go with Martinez, but I'm just thinking whether he would put Varane back in or not because he looked out of sorts as well. So I'm just thinking it might be, like you said, Tony, Harry Maguire and Martinez as the centre-back pairing. So, yeah, that would be the back line I would be going for.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might be in agreement. I mean, Tony, you've changed my mind now. I think that Varane is a very fragile player at the moment, and we can't risk getting him injured because look what happened when he was out when we got pumped 6-3 by City at the start of the season. I think Varane's I obviously know that's quite a while ago now, but I think Varane's one of our most important players as an actual leader. And we can't risk him getting injured because I would rather, like you say, play it safe and put Maguire or Lindelof in with Martinez and hopefully do that. But if Luke Shaw actually had a good game against Liverpool and he didn't have that light injury, I probably would have tried him at left centre back for this type of game. But I think with the horrific performance he has, and he has got a possible injury, I would have to play Martinez there alongside either Maguire or Lindelof. But I do think Dalot is the better option out of Wan-Bissaka. Just because I think that because Wan-Bissaka, when Dalot was injured, played very well to cover him. But I still just rate Dalot a lot more. I think he suits Ten Hag's system with the creative fullback. I mean, defensively, Wan-Bissaka's a lot better. But I think that on the ball, creatively, Diego Dalot's got a way better of a cross on him because, as we know, when Anthony plays, he's pretty much inside the box. And Dalot's that out wide type winger, almost whipping in them balls.
I think with Wan-Bissaka, I think to berate his ball qualities because he's improved massively. If you watch him a year ago, watching the last few months, I was there at City and he won real. I was there like this ain't the same Wan-Bissaka I've been seeing, and he's been great. There's still a few frailties to his game, I must admit, but there's frailties to everyone's game. But I'm saying there's a couple of things that I could pick out if I wanted to be nitpicky.
Yeah, but apparently, I've saw a few things on Twitter that Crystal Palace are really coming in for him in the summer, and it would surprise me. Because we're apparently interested in Jeremy Frimpong, apparently. So, I mean, Frimpong's a brilliant fullback, don't get me wrong, but I think I'd miss Wan-Bissaka. That's the thing. I think I'd miss him a lot. But we'll move on to the midfield. I am going to keep Casemiro because I do think he's one of our most important players. But I will play, I'm going to say Sabitzer. And I don't want to play Bruno, but who actually goes there? I really don't know who actually goes there over Bruno.
You're not gonna like my lineup, but you take Casemiro.
I don't know because I don't think McTominay is good enough. I don't think that Fred can do it without Casemiro, and I think he needs a bit of a rest for Southampton on Sunday because they've got quite a strong midfield. I'm going to just have to put Bruno in, unfortunately. I'm going to have to just put Bruno in because I don't think Erik Ten Hag will experiment with playing Sancho as a 10 in this game. So my midfield will be Casemiro, Sabitzer and Bruno.
Do you want to go, Andrew?
Yeah. I was going to say, with Casemiro, like I said, from what I'm hearing, he's been assessed for an injury as well. So, and if he does recover in time as well, he's going to have to tread a fine line because he's one yellow card away from a Europa League suspension. So, and even if he does miss the first leg and he plays the second leg and then picks up the booking, if he was to, then he'll miss the first leg of the quarterfinal if we got through. So, would I risk? I don't know. I just think after the way he was miles off it on Sunday, I just think give him a rest, and I just think maybe I'd go with Sabitzer and McTominay as that midfield, and then with Bruno just in front of him as well. Even though I'd like to give the Bruno the night off, I just think knowing Bruno Fernandes, he'll just want to get back out there on the pitch, and I've got something to prove to everybody, and to his teammates and to us fans as well. So that would be my three in the midfield.
My three in the middle, I would give Casemiro a rest. I think Casemiro looked shattered on Sunday. He looked spent. He did look like the Casemiro we've seen week in, week out. He looked almost injured. He looked like he picked up a knock. And I think had it not been Liverpool, I think it'd have been brought off. I think it was the fact it was Liverpool and Ten Hag risked it and gambled it. It didn't pay off, but I'd play Sabitzer instead. I'd play Sabitzer in Casemiro's role. I'd bring in McTominay, and I'm actually going to agree with Jarvis. I'd try out Sancho at number 10. I'd try Sancho at number 10. I think Fernandes, even though I know Fernandes will play on Thursday, I have no doubts Fernandes will be starting on Thursday. I think it'd be nice to see Sancho at number 10. And I think Fernandes, as much he's always available, being always available is it does have its downsides, because sometimes you can, when you've played that amount of games, even though you're not injured, your fatigue comes in, your fatigue mentally, physically, all these things come in. And I do think Fernandes has looked like that in the last few games. And I think it'd be good for him. In this game, for me, this game is a free hit. I know it sounds daft, it's a competition, but if we lose 1-0 and we've rested a lot of players on Thursday, we could go back next week with a rejuvenated United team with a lot more rested players and could possibly do a job. You know,
sorry to interrupt, Paolo. What would you actually do? Because I said before we won the Carabao Cup that I still think that United should have sacrificed a cup, whether it was the Europa League or the FA Cup, because we were at the point. I think it was when we won the first leg against Nottingham Forest 3-0. And I said, I still think that we should sacrifice a cup, whether it's the FA Cup or the Europa League. Which cup do you think we need to sacrifice a cup to focus on top four? Because
I do.
Which one would it be? Because obviously we play Fulham. Obviously we've got Europa League next two fixtures, and then we've got the FA Cup.
When I say sacrifice, I don't mean bend over and let the other team have us.
No, neither do I.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying the FA Cup. Realistically, you've got 3 games to win it now, right? You've got Fulham, the semi-final, which could be a championship team in the semi-final. It's a great shot. Whereas the Europa League, you've still got big hitters in there like Arsenal, Roma, Sporting Lisbon, and top 4 right now. We're 7 points clear. I know people can go, well, that can mean we can go a little bit forward in Europa League. I don't see it like that. I've noticed the games on Thursday. We come back on Sunday, and we do look we look shattered. Like against Leicester, we were shattered for the first 30 minutes against Leicester, and then we got a burst of energy through Rashford's goal. Newcastle all over us for the first 20 minutes in the League Cup final, and then this week Liverpool had us, and this is what I'm saying. I think what I say I know will not happen, because Ten Hag will go full pull. He does not care, and I love him for it, and I respect the hell out of him for doing it. But I'm just looking at it. As much as I want to be an optimist, I have to be a realist in this situation. I think sacrificing the Europa League, not sacrificing it. If our second string players do it, more power to them. Brilliant. Makes us look better. Gives them confidence. We need that confidence. But what I'm saying is, right now, top 4 and a trophy would be beyond my wildest dreams for this season.
Yeah, I watched back one of my first videos I ever did on my channel, because I've only been new YouTube for about 6-7 months.
Yeah,
and I did my Premier League predictions, and I put United just outside the top 4, and I said if Ten Hag can get top 4, it would be an incredible season. That's without a trophy. So we've already got the trophy, and we're pretty much nailed on to be getting top 4. I just think at this point we need to play it safe and just sacrifice the Europa League, because there's still 6-7 games to go after Betis, or is it?
It's 7. No, you are right. No, so 1 game in the round of 16, 2 in the quarters, 2 in the semis, and then one final. 6. One final. So 6 games, mate. Yeah.
And then with the FA Cup, obviously we've got Fulham. Is that 2 legs, or is that just the 1 leg?
1 leg. It's always 1 leg in the FA Cup, mate.
Right. Okay, that's fine. So realistically, we've got if United make it to the final, there's only 3 games left, and don't forget as well that the FA Cup final was at the end of the season as well. So they're very well spread out. They're not pretty much every single week. So if we did lose to Betis in the Europa League, I wouldn't be actually crying my eyes out over it, because I think in hindsight I'd be like, you know what, this is actually better for the squad, and we're in the Champions League next season anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I have to disagree with you, Dan, and be disappointed, because I still would be disappointed as a United fan. I hate watching us lose.
Well, I hate watching us lose, but I just mean it's like taking a step back to getting 2 steps forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do think it's a chance for us to see some players, because I haven't seen as much of Sabitzer as I'd liked so far, and I'd like to see more of Malacia play, because I think Malacia's got a massive upside to his game, and I think I'd love to see Pellistri get a game. I think when he's ever come on, I'd love to watch him play, but he never gets a game, and I don't know if it's something he's doing wrong, but it's just the fact he's Ten Hag just wants to play Anthony or Sancho or Rashford or Bruno, but Pellistri looks like a good player, and
the fact is as well is that not what people don't speak enough about is that Pellistri got in the World Cup squad for Uruguay, and he didn't even get a game for United. So like they obviously know his talent and stuff. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
But we'll get onto the forwards now. And I am going to go. The reason I didn't put Sancho in as a 10 is because I do think he'll play, and I'm going to put him out on the right over left, and then I'm going to have Garnacho and Weghorst. I do think he'll rest Rashford in this game because Rashford looks knackered to me, and I do honestly think that playing the likes of Sancho and Garnacho and Weghorst, you've got the inverted winger in Garnacho who will run at defenders. You've got a creative in Sancho, and you can even make it go to a full 3-2 if you want to, with the likes of Bruno and Sancho both being wide midfielders almost, and then having Weghorst as a target man. So I think that the way we can interchange with that squad for me would be perfect. But what do you think for your front line? Who would you go for?
Yeah, I'd say I'll go first. Just quickly, just on your point say about sacrificing trophies, I wouldn't sacrifice anything. In Man United, we should be going for it all. We've never played it safe. It's like I always think at the start of the season we should be going for everything. Okay, sometimes it doesn't work out, but I'm just thinking the biggest club in the world, so we should be winning the biggest trophies. In terms of forward line, see, I'm going to go for Sancho, Garnacho and Rashford, and they can rotate themselves around in the positions, because obviously Sancho can play on left or right, Garnacho the same, and Rashford, so it might give the Betis defence a bit of a, who's playing where. So Rashford could be going through the middle, and then it could be Sancho, so it gives them something to think about. So I think that's what Ten Hag might just do, and I just think that gives us that fluidity as well, so in the attack as well. And obviously, well, it was splitting the defence as well, because then if you've got Bruno just behind the forward line, he can come in as well and join the attack as well. So I think that will be my front three against Betis.
Yeah, I see your point, Andrew. And yeah, obviously we don't want to be losing games or sacrificing games. We are Manchester United, and we should be going for every single game. Like, I know none of us like losing, but it's just like sometimes you might have to think outside the box. Do we have to sacrifice? But I've just left this comment up here because I really like it about after the team's tremendous effort to get past Barca, I don't think Erik Ten Hag or any of the players would want to give up Europa now. And honestly, I completely agree. And like I've said, is that obviously if we could win the Europa League, that'd be absolutely brilliant. I mean, if we could win the FA Cup as well, that would be brilliant. But I'm just thinking now, with the way this team's looking, we've got a bunch of games to go still. We've probably got about 20 games to go for the rest of the season. It's mental of how many games we've actually got left to play if we are in all competitions. So it's just that, I mean, 20 games doesn't sound like a lot, but when we're playing a game pretty much every 2.5 or 3 days, it does take its toll on you. And obviously we have got international break in a few weeks, so hopefully that will rest a few players. I know Fred's not going with Brazil. I've not seen the England one, but I know Garnacho and Martinez have been called up for Argentina, but Sabitza's not going with Austria, so that's good news. So Weghorst isn't going with
he is good. Weghorst going with Holland.
Oh, he is going. Yeah. Oh, never mind then. Ignore that. So yeah, I do think that we have got a few players. I know Malacia hasn't been called up for Holland. I know that's for a fact, but it's hopefully some players do get rested. But I just want to put up this other comment as well. Is that smart call on sacrifice the Europa League? The title race is very much on. Screenshot this message. Tracking City needs 7 points on them.
It was a big ask on Sunday, mate. I think it's an astronomical ask now for us to win the league, mate. If we win the league, I'd be the
honestly, I've never been a believer that we're going to win the league. I don't believe in this title race. All I want is top 4, and if we can win an extra trophy, that's just a bonus for me. I just think that it's just too much to be asking Erik Ten Hag to do this in his first season. And I just think give him next season, see how the summer goes. If we get new owners, depending on how the transfer window goes, then maybe we can start saying, are we in the title race because we did so well this season? But I just think that United have scraped too many wins this season, and that's why we're doing so well, because there are games where we should have lost, but we've just done really well to stay in the game and actually get a result out of it. But yeah, obviously, Tony, I need to ask you for your forward line. Who are you going for?
The more and more I'm thinking about it, Andrew steered me mind a lot because he is right. He is right. Ten Hag's got the United thing about him where we got to go for everything, win the shebang. I think Sancho will play, but then I think Bruno will play on Thursday. I think Sancho will play. I think Anthony will play. And then I think Rashford will probably play, even though I think Rashford should be dropped. If you're asking me who I would start if I was United manager, which I'll never will be, I would start. I would probably I'd probably have Sancho, Garnacho, and Elanga up top. I think I'd put a front three. I'd rest them all. I'd rest a lot. I genuinely think Sunday, if we lose 1-0. If we lose 1-0 and then the week after we've got a rejuvenated starting 11 with our actual starters and we turn around and get a 2-0 result in Betis and we've rested, it'll be tactical genius from Ten Hag. He's rested his players for a whole week. We go to Southampton. Southampton, no offence to them, we should be beating them at home. And then we go on Thursday, and yeah, I wouldn't start Weghorst on Thursday. He looks shattered. He's played every single game since he's come here. I know it's easy to say these. As much as these players are professional athletes and elite athletes, they're still only human. And it was evident on Sunday how shattered they were. You could see it.
Yeah, we know Southgate will pick. Just saying what Jarvis's comment about the international stuff about. We know Southgate will pick Maguire and give him vital game time. Not to forget, he will pick an injured Rashford and play him so he comes back more injured into Southgate masterclass.
It's funny that you think he's going to play for England. Raheem Sterling starting.
Look at the World Cup. Rashford was our top goal scorer, and we didn't even bring him on for France until like 4 minutes ago. Then we lost to France, so. That's frustrating. But Thomas said, don't stop believing, holds onto this feeling. United have shown we're changing, and if we play smarts, then we could clinch the title. You know what, guys? Let's ask you, do you believe we're in the title race? Let's ask that. Ask the comments. Do you believe we're in a title race? And because I'm a firm believer that we're not, but I that's just my opinion. I want to know everyone else's opinion. We're all United fans here. We're all entitled to our own opinion. So, do you believe we're in a title race?
No, not after Sunday, but mathematically still possible. But in my heart, I just think, I'd love us to win the title. But in my head, I'm just thinking, maybe just a stretch too far. But you never know what could happen with City and Arsenal. So we'll see over the next 12, 13 games what will happen until the end of the season. So you never know.
We would have to win every single game and hope that Arsenal and Man City drop points, which I think they will drop points, but I can't see us winning 13 games in a row. That's not to say they can't. They could easily. United could if we play to our true ability. But I think you're asking a big ask. If he does do it, mate, Ten Hag, he's already got cult status at United. He'll get statue status if he does that. Which as much as I love the guy and I love him and I love this United team, even though people are slating everyone left, right, and centre for Sunday, I know it's sour. I know, mate, the amount of messages I've got of people going 7 up. All this stuff about Liverpool and 7 goals and things like that.
I was at work today and my manager put a 7-up can in my locker. I was just like, you bastard. I was like... But I just turned around to him and we drink Sprite and I give it him back. But yeah, it's... I do think that we just need to forget about Liverpool. And you know what? Twitter's actually gone really quiet, and I think that United fans have just shown that we don't really care. We've moved on, and Liverpool fans are just trying to keep it onto them. But
I still care. I'm proper bitter about it. I'll tell you that. I had a Liverpool fan argue with me on Twitter, saying that we agreed that we should. Some fan basically tweeted. A United fan said, "I'd have sacrificed the League Cup to mean we didn't lose against Liverpool." And they're like, "Come on, it's a trophy. It's one game against Liverpool. Yeah. It's a trophy that we haven't won in 6 years. We haven't won a trophy in 6 years. You're telling me now at the start of the last month, if we could win the League Cup at Wembley, we could beat Barcelona, but we lose to Liverpool. You take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's crap, and I'm not denying it's rubbish how it went down, but take away the scoreline. If we lost 1-0 to Liverpool, 2-0 to Liverpool, we wouldn't even be talking about it still.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was just because of the freak result it actually was. I mean, 7-0. The thing is, though, if it, I think the reason as well is that it hurts even more because it was Liverpool. If it was like Brighton or Aston Villa or something like that, a team that can score a lot of goals, then we'd just be like, what the actually happened there? But we just go again. But because it was Liverpool, that's why our biggest rivals. That's probably why it actually hurt so much. But Man United podcast. Good evening, boys. Evening, pal.
Evening,
and then just reading up this other message in the chat. Well said, Tony. Arsenal will crumble. City and Arsenal still to play Liverpool and others. Look at the fixtures. We win this. Double down on 40-1 odds. You know what, mate? If you win a 40-1 odds and United win the title, I honestly don't care. If United won the title, I think it would actually be bad for the club. And you might be thinking, what the hell is this guy on? No, you might be thinking, what the hell is this guy on about? I guarantee if we won the league, the Glazers stay. I can guarantee you that.
You think? I think it's already done, mate. I think it's all formalities now.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's all formalities, mate.
Well, only time will tell. But Jordan, should we give score predictions for the Real Betis game? With our lineups, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
I was going to say, Betis have, definitely developed an affinity for goal scoring. I think that might cause our back line a few problems, but I think it's a good job the next game is at Old Trafford, where we've been in excellent form this season. And I just think I've got faith that we'll turn around, the performance from Sunday, and gain that first leg advantage over Betis and take that result to Spain. So I'm going to go 2-1 to us.
1-0 United. 1-0 United. Wan-Bissaka to score a worldie. You heard it here first. Wan-Bissaka is going to be goated at some point. Honestly, I love the guy to death. I love him way too much.
What was that goal that he scored about? Was it last season or the season before? It was against Newcastle, and then everyone said it was a cross, but then he absolutely rifled it into the top corner.
Oh mate, I hope he scores. I want actually, you know who I'd like? I'd like Garnacho to score. I think Garnacho, I want to get his confidence up, and Sancho as well. I'd love him to get a goal. I'd love everyone to get a goal. You know what I mean? I don't care. Mate, De Gea could score, I'd be buzzing. You know what I mean? I want to, more than anything on Thursday, whatever, regardless of the result, even though I do think we can win quite easily, I want to see a positive energy from the team. I want to see us go out there looking hungry. And the greatest apology you can give to your fans after the game on Sunday is showing it on the pitch by your performance. And I think Ten Hag will instill this in the lads. I think that it will be a game where Betis will be resilient, but they won't be resilient in a sense of they'll park the bus. They will come to try and win the game. I 100% agree with it.
But yeah, I do agree with you. But I just think that with the way we're playing, I think that Erik Ten Hag will rotate a few players. I do think that it will be a low-scoring game, and that's why I've said 1-1. But you know what? If we win the game, then I'll be absolutely buzzing. But I can only go off what I think. But I'll just read the last few comments in the chat. So we've got, I think Rashford will only play 45 minutes tomorrow. It is the day after, pal. But I think so as well. I don't think Rashford will get too much game time. I think he'll either be brought on as a substitution or he'll to get taken off either at half time or with like 60 minutes into the game or something. I don't think he'll play the full 90. Simon Davis says, let's see how they respond because Erik Ten Hag ain't going to have that. Yeah, we've already addressed that. We think that Erik Ten Hag's going to drill into them. I think he's made him go on another run like he did after Brentford. So I'm pretty sure that the players will be up for it. Man U winners, 1-0 Sabitzer to score. I mean, if we win, I don't care who scores. It could be Harry Maguire. It could be a fan from the crowd for all I care. A goal's a goal. John, a regular on All for United, 2-0 United, Rashford and Fernandes penalty. Fernandes is back. So hopefully. Jarvis, let's have a look what he said. It's a bit of a big message. if you think rotational of a Liverpool game, it was only 3 points lost. The goal difference was terrible in the first place. If we string together a run of wins, we're back on track for third place. I agree with you, pal. And I think that United have proven many times this season that we've been out of in games or a team's been better than us and we've somehow scraped a win together or we've scraped a draw. So I wouldn't count United out this season, even though we're all knackered. It just seems that it's like we're like a Duracell battery. Like we just don't stop going. And I just think that United are just brilliant this season. They're resilient, and even though they look physically exhausted, they just fight for the badge. And I think that the Liverpool game just needs to be wiped from our memories, no matter how bitter we stay for the rest of the season. But Asim, does the friendly against Betis earlier this season have bearing on this match? No, pal, it doesn't. That was just a friendly for a warm-up during the World Cup. But Dav as well, he's gone for 1-1 like me. So I'm glad that someone agrees with me. But yeah, what do you guys think of this stream, of how it's gone and stuff? And do you think Betis are going to surprise us like Liverpool did, or do you think that Erik Ten Hag and we're going to see a reaction from the players? Andrew, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, definitely we'll see. Definitely see a reaction. Let's say it's good. As I just said a moment ago, it's a good job it's at Old Trafford the game. So I'd have been a bit more worried if we had to go away. I had to go away to Betis first because obviously there'd been like a hostile crowd away at Betis. Putting a good performance, get the result, and take something to Betis, and then hopefully we'll be reaching the quarterfinals of the Europa League this time, or in a week's time on Thursday. So fingers crossed.
Tony,
mate, I think we'll be all right. I think Ten Hag, I have every faith in him. Every time we lose a game, we seem to come back with a statement, and I do think these players are good enough to come in and do a job against Betis. And I think if Vego scores a hat trick, mate, I will get his name tattooed on my ass. That's how. I hope it happens. I hope it does. I just don't think it's going to happen. Someone's going to screenshot that and he'll score a hat trick now. But it's one of them.
You know what? I might even put a bet on that Vegos is scoring hat trick because you know what? Football's a crazy place, isn't it? Yeah. But you know what? I mean, Finn just put as well Chelsea 1-0 as well. We are a United channel, but you know that does well for my accumulator bet. That's good to see. But yeah, guys, honestly, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for the amazing comments as well. Always having your suggestions, having your say. It's very appreciated over here on the All for United channel. But yeah, Andrew, Tony, thank you for tuning in on this stream. Just got to promote where we can find you normally.
I was going to say you can find me on Twitter. The handle there.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at tone_1995. I've got my page as well, Armchair Supporters, which talks about football. So I post articles on there. Get Tone booked in that tattoo parlour. I wonder what the odds are of Vegos to actually score a hat trick is, though. I reckon it's astronomical. I reckon it's at least 100 to 1.
Let me have a quick look. One sec. Let me actually
do watch on. I don't think he'll play on Thursday. So.
I'm trying to find it quickly because I don't want to overdo it. I'll find it out and I'll send you a screenshot, Tony. I'll get you booked in your tattoo parlour at the same time. But no, honestly, guys, thank you for watching this stream. You've been an amazing audience. I've got an amazing panel with me tonight. So yes, thank you for watching, and we'll probably see you next for the match reaction of the Real Betis game when Manchester United win the game. So yes, glory, glory, Manchester United, and we'll see you later. See you later.